Hello, and welcome to Kingdom World Media. Today we are taking a look at the powerful testimony of Sister Ruth Daniels.
So I had started having breathing problems, and I didn't quite know why it was happening. And so, I started going to the hospital, and they would tell me there's nothing wrong. So, I'm like, oh man, you're always thinking something wrong. So one night I went to sleep, and I knew that I wasn't breathing, and so I went to the hospital again. This went on for approximately about a year, and just about every week I went to the hospital to see what was wrong because I wasn't breathing properly. So then finally one day I woke up because I was so distressed because I was not breathing. And I said, Lord, if you let me just get in this shower and get to this hospital, please. And so I got to the hospital and I got there and the lady says, they examined me and they were like, we want to take an x-ray. And so they took an x-ray and they said, we see something by your heart. And so they said, we want to take a biopsy of it. I was like, okay. So they did and they tried. It was multiple times they tried, but they couldn't get it. And so they were like, we want you to come back and we're going to try to do it again. Came back several times. They never could get this biopsy. And so they didn't say it. So I called the doctor back and I was like, so what happened? He was like, well, we couldn't get the biopsy. And I said, so what you gonna do? He was like, we would have to cut you open to get it. And I was like, okay, so you see something that's not supposed to be there. They was like, okay. So I went to the hospital. They had me go to the hospital and they was gonna cut me open to just get a biopsy. So the doctor that was going to do the cutting said, no, we're not going to just cut you open to do the biopsy. If we cut you open, we're going to cut you open and take whatever it is out. That's what we're going to do. And I was like, okay. So then they did cut open to see what it was. And they found out that they had to do major surgery on me. And they had to cut me down my chest. Not only did they have to cut me down my chest, they had to cut my throat. So I had to be operated on by two surgeons. One would do the part for the heart, and one would do the part in the neck and the throat. So I asked them, I said, which surgery is the most important? They was like, well, the heart. They found a mass the size of a baby that was lodged in my neck and in my chest. A 7.5-pound baby. And I said, I've been trying to tell them that something was in my chest for a whole year. So they sent it to the pathologist, and the pathologist said that it was cancer. But I want to say this, before I had the surgery, and the pathologist after the pathologist got it, and they said they had to determine whether it was cancer or not. I prayed in my kitchen one day and I told the Lord, I said, I cannot do cancer. And, I just went on about my day, and a couple of days passed and I can hear the Lord say, you're not going to have cancer. So when I went to the doctor and to get the pathologist report, and he said,
well, Miss Daniels, you have lymphoma cancer.
He said, you have lymphoma cancer. I said, I thought you said I wasn't going. He said, Miss Daniels, I did not tell you that you were. I said, I'm not talking to you. And I just bust out crying, and I just walked out of the doctor's office. And I said, Lord, I thought you told me that I wasn't going to have. I was crying so hard. I just couldn't believe that I felt like the Lord had told me that I was not going to have cancer.
At this point, Sister Daniels faced a crossroad. She knew she heard a word from the Lord, but that word seemed to not come to pass. She had just been diagnosed with cancer, and now she didn't know what to do. Keep watching to see the conclusion of her incredible testimony.
And here they is telling me that I have cancer. I told you I couldn't do cancer, Anyway, The day went on and a couple of days went by. And I said, okay, Lord, if I have cancer and you want me to have it, I can do it. And so they had called me, the doctors called me and scheduled an appointment with Carmanos. I went there and they took some blood work and stuff and told me to come back and they was going to give me the treatment that I need. So I came back and this doctor, she said,
I think we are going to get a second opinion for you.
because we got a report from the Cancer Society that says you don't have cancer, but the pathologist says you do. And what I want to do is take it to Ann Arbor and where all the panels of doctors can look at it and make a determination. I said, okay. And so it came out the same way. One side said she has cancer, one side said she doesn't. What happened was the white blood cells and cancer cells fight, but both cells were dead. And they were trying to determine whether I still had cancer because the white blood cells was all dead. So, that never happens, that both are dead. It's one or the other is still alive. And they couldn't determine whether I still had cancer cells up. So she said, what we're going to do is take you on a molecular test and see on a molecular level whether you have cancer. We did the molecular test and it came back that I didn't have cancer. And I said, thank you, Jesus, because you said I would not have cancer. And I didn't. And I said, Lord, when you say something to me, I will never doubt you again.
So there you have it, the powerful testimony of Sister Ruth Daniels. Her story is a beautiful reminder that God is still working miracles in our lives today. If this testimony touched your heart, don't keep it to yourself. Like, share, and comment below. And remember, if God did it for Sister Daniels, He can do it for you.